उठा सकते हैं। अब चाहे वो घर पर रहे या ऑनलॉक वाले पेस सेंटर में आए, उनको वही डेडिकेटेड एंड प्रोफेशनल केयर मिलेगी। ऑनलॉक ने बुजुर्गों की सेहत को अपना प्रायोरिटी बना लिया है। और जानने के लिए 1855-308-0195 पे कॉल करें। That's 1855-308-0195. After months of screen time and no play dates, the Children's Discovery Museum is open for Purple Play Days of Summer. It's time to rediscover the wonder. Climb on the fire engine, splash around in the waterworks, blow bubbles, and scale the tree climber in Bill's backyard. Oodles of hands-on arts and culture, STEM, health, and nature-themed exhibits await your family. The Giant Purple Museum is open every day, Wednesday through Sunday. Reservations are required at cdm.org. That's cdm.org.
Top of the morning, Bay, with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
नमस्कार,
वनकम,
नमस्कार,
खुशामदीद,
सलाम अलैकुम,
सत श्री अकाल,
मी गांधर की वंदनम,
जय स्वामीनारायण,
जय श्री कृष्णा,
जय जलेंद्र।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोल दे याली मदद,
मोलाली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीचर बंद करके नीसाम्बुला बरजान हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे मैसेज फालतू बाबा
and of course myself फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए और drive time that's going to make it totally exciting and totally मस्तानी बन जाने।
That's right, Bajan. Of course, I have to add something to Faltoni because we also have bandhus who are actually listening to us all the way from the Middle East as well.
Whoa.
We also have people listening to us over here who are of Afghan origin, also Arabic origin. So,
Yeah.
आप सभी लोगों के लिए एक नया kind of wish for you guys, Bajan.
Yes.
Sabah Noor.
Sabah Noor.
Yeah.
Sabah Noor to all our bandus who are from where, Al-Baba?
Who speak Arabic.
Is it in Arabic?
Who
Sabah
speak
Noor
Arabic,
to all our
yes.
bandus. Okay.
And of course, Bajan, we also can say Sabah Khair for you guys, but of course, I'm just showing off my promise in the language. But always, you know, it's me. I always try to show off something or the other from my end in terms of how, it's interesting to actually wish people in different languages. And let me tell you, it's time for us to go take a look at what's happening in the traffic. Rafse ka haal aapko milega rasaste mein yahan pe on air.
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Balanjan, interestingly, nobody is actually on the road right now. Oh, no, they are on the road right now. It's not like congested, but just like, it's pretty much like the situation of COVID where it was not very crowded. That's good. And also good thing about today, Balanjan, is not many incidents report also. There was here and there a little bit of congestions and a little bit of accidents, but they all got cleared up by CHP, of course, doing a wonderful job. Weather-wise, if you look at, it's going to be a wonderful weather today. It's going to be highest we might hit around 75, so it's not going to be a very hot day. It's cloudy. I doubt it's cloud. I think it's more of the smoke which is around because of the fires, but again, still not under control. We'll talk about that for sure in the news updates, I guess. Tomorrow also is going to be kind of a cloudy kind of a day, but again, weekend is going to get hotter. We're going to hit the 90s, but again, probably Saturday, Sunday. But it's going to be, I hope the weather is clear. It's long weekend. I know Labor Day is coming up on 6th. That's going to be on the Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So people probably are taking the long weekend this weekend itself. But anyways, Banjan, time for us to go back and see, or rather not go back and see, go forward towards the news updates. Faltoni, what do we have for our bandhus?
Well, Banjan, let's tell you that this Ida has really wreaked havoc. Flooding killed at least 14 people, and now the count has gone up to 18. It swept away cars, submerged subway lines, and temporarily grounded flights, even in New York and New Jersey, as the remnants of Hurricane Ida brought torrential rains to the area. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio told a Thursday news conference that there were 9 confirmed fatalities in New York caused by what he has described as a historic weather event. Countless rescues were made overnight of motorists and subway riders who became stranded in the floodwaters, de Blasio said. So many lives were saved because of the fast, courageous response of our first responders. In a special a report that's coming out, Panajan, there is a Chinese tycoon who drives a Volvo who is saying he is going to take on and tackle Tesla.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Do you know how big Volvo is? As Don Leclerc, finance chief at Ford Motor Company. It was 2008, and Leclerc was responding to an offer from a little-known Chinese businessman to purchase the Swedish car maker, which Ford then owned. The businessman Li Shifu had a company with less than half of Volvo's sales and a flagship model called King Kong, almost unknown outside of China. He was politely shown the door of the glass house, Ford's iconic headquarters near Detroit, according to two people who were at the meeting. Ford's Leclerc did not respond to requests for a comment about this particular episode. But fast forward to 2021, Li Shifu's company, Zhejiang Geely Holding Group, is one of the biggest selling automakers in the world's biggest auto markets. It controls not only Volvo cars but also a clutch of global auto brands and a significant stake in German giant Daimler AG, the maker of Mercedes-Benz. These names are now part of its plans for a revolution in autos. Geely is preparing Volvo for a listing on the Nasdaq Stockholm Exchange as a route towards the future of transportation. Volvo, Saltubaba, can you believe that?
I can. The thing is, it seems like a story which has already been there in the business world.
Really?
Can you tell which one, Falguni?
Which one?
The story which has not been told by many people. Only people who know and follow this gentleman you will know. The very famous altruistic gentleman, the business tycoon of Indian diaspora.
Oh, Tata.
Tata. Yes, Tata had the similar kind of situation when he wanted to actually offer to buy Range Rover. They initially said no, and then he came back and he was the person who saved them.
Wow. Well, anyway, the future of transportation, according to this company, right, that this Mr. Zhufu has envisioned, right, is one where cars are part of an electrified network of mobility services, driving themselves, connecting to each other like cell phones, generating an array of data and new business opportunities.
Of course.
And it's a vision, a more Silicon Valley than Detroit, where traditional automakers globally are chasing another giant called Tesla.
Yep.
So Shufu and his advisors eventually convinced Ford to part with Volvo in 2010 for $1.8 billion. It was the first in a string of deals, tapping brands such as Lotus, Smart, and the London Electric Vehicle Company to form a network that he calls a bigger circle of friends across industry segments. Very interesting. It's a great read, Bandajan. If you're somebody who is into electric vehicles, or is looking at getting an electric vehicle or investing, or even just want to know about this entrepreneur, like Altababa said, another person who kind of led the foray into this was our very own Ratan Tata, right? Yeah. Well, this is a news item that we will share on MediaMahima.com. But let's move on over. Republican Cheney. Yes, Liz Cheney, who was very unceremoniously ousted by the Republican Party from the leadership. She will serve as the vice chair of the Congressional Select Committee investigating the deadly Jan 6 assault on the U.S. Capitol. An appointment likely to draw the ire of some of her fellow Republicans. Benny Thompson, the panel's Democratic chairman, announced the appointment in a statement on Thursday that said that Cheney demonstrated again and again a commitment to getting answers. Her leadership and insights have shaped the early work of the Select Committee, and this appointment underscores the bipartisan nature of this effort, he said. President Joe Biden is really upset and has called the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling on the Texas abortion ban as an unprecedented assault on women's constitutional rights, after the top court allowed this particular law to remain in place. Biden said while the ruling was not the final word on what he called an extreme state law, he was directing the federal government to see how it could ensure that women in Texas have access to safe and legal abortions, and what legal tools we have to insulate women and providers from the impact of Texas's bizarre scheme of outsourced enforcement to private parties. Did you know that this is the most controversial controversial part of the law, Alto Baba.
Yes, I know.
It's basically deputizing, right? It's deputizing people.
Like vigilantes.
Yes, exactly. It is getting them to actually file suit. It could be, you could be an Uber driver who's driving the person to the abortion clinic,
Yep,
right? It
yep.
could be the person who made the appointment. It could be the person who is getting you your gown in the abortion clinic. It could be a parent concerned over a child and who's trying to help the child deal with this particular thing. So they say that the suit cannot be filed against the pregnant person, but everybody in their midst. So they basically, this is, you know what they're doing? They're legalizing harassment.
Yeah, they actually empowering. The thing is, one thing you should understand: Texas also is a place where you actually can carry a gun for free, like a gun free without a license or training or anything of that sort.
Right.
So basically, they're actually building an army of militia.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do, right? Everybody's going to move that side, and they're going to have their own Texit.
Right. Texas, it seems.
You never know. You never know. Hey.
Well, if there's one person who you don't want to take off, and that's what Alto Baba always says, and that is House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, once she steps in, everything gets cleared up. Anyway, she's getting into it anyways, Faldwani.
She has said that she's going to pledge action on this bill in response to the Texas abortion law.
Yes, and of course, Bajan, it might take some time, but it will. No, I really think it's a slippery slope for that.
Yes.
Because Bajan, if you're not actually read about it, please go read up in detail about this. It's not that. It's just that it opens up for so many things. In other words, the state is saying, see, already the state does not want to have federal involvement in any of their decisions, right?
Correct.
But right now, what's going to happen is the state, not only this one, they will take this as precedent, and the Roe v. Wade that thing which is there, which actually is a civil rights thing, right?
Yeah.
That can be thrown off by the state's legislation. They can choose not to actually have it also.
What?
Yeah, it's possible.
But I thought the federal law kind of precedes, but it's a
But
precedent.
in
it's
this case, they are ignoring the Supreme Court and the federal law.
Yeah. The Supreme Court is actually stood by Texas.
Correct. So in other words, Texas bypassed their thing, right? So, but anyway, it's not the final thing, by the way. So it's still, I would say, put pressure on your representatives. Very important.
Well, the Democratic-controlled House of Reps in coming weeks will debate and vote on legislation aimed at stopping states from enacting the restrictive anti-abortion regulations like the one just approved by Texas. Speaker Nancy Pelosi said on Thursday in a statement in which she said the Texas statute, quote, delivers catastrophe to women in Texas, particularly women of color and women from low-income communities, unquote. Pelosi said a Democratic bill will be brought before the full House for debate upon our return from a recess scheduled to end September 20th. September 9/11 victims' families are pushing a U.S. watchdog to end the FBI's lost evidence part of it. They want them to investigate their suspicions that the FBI lied about or destroyed evidence linking Saudi Arabia to the hijackers. The request in a letter to the Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz said circumstances make it likely that one or more FBI officials committed willful misconduct with intent to destroy or secrete evidence to avoid its disclosure. The FBI has currently declined to comment on this particular matter. In local news, Vanajan cruise in California town near Lake Tahoe kind of saved it. South Lake Tahoe stood smoke-filled and largely deserted on Wednesday after crews fought back a huge wind-driven wildfire, leaving the California resort town unscathed as flames crept on towards Nevada. U.S. President Joe Biden approved a declaration of an emergency in California and ordered federal assistance to boost local responders' efforts to battle the Caldor fire, the White House has said. Biden's action authorized a coordination of disaster relief measures by the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA, the White House has said. In other local news, Banajan, California could soon force large department stores to display some child products in gender-neutral ways after the state legislature passed a bill on Wednesday aimed at getting rid of traditional pink and blue marketing schemes for items like toys and toothbrushes. The bill will now would not outlaw traditional boys and girls sections in department stores, but it would require retailers to have a gender-neutral section to display a reasonable selection definition of items, regardless of whether they have been traditionally marketed for either boys or girls. There you go. More work for ad agencies and more work for merchandisers, right?
Marketing, Falguni, marketing.
Marketing, yes.
And of course, Bajan, right now it's time for us to go and to our world news. Falguni, what do you have as world news today for us?
Well, Altubaba world news. Let us tell you that rebels are holding out in the Afghan valley as the Taliban is setting up government in Kabul. Taliban fighters and rebels battle in the Panjshir Valley, and announcement of a new government is expected very soon, according to official sources from the Taliban. International recognition is needed to secure vital aid for this country, which is now grappling with hunger, lack of resources, and lack of cash. And the economy is near collapse. Warnings of a humanitarian crisis are being made across the board. In other news, Bandajan, with regard to this is from Russia, Bandajan. Russia may treat Apple or Google's refusal to remove Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny's app from their stores as meddling in its parliamentary election, apparently. This month, Interfax news agency cited the communications regulator as saying on Thursday, allies of Alexei Navalny, President Vladimir Putin's fiercest domestic opponent, plan to use the app to organize a tactical voting campaign to deal a blow to the pro-Kremlin United Russia ruling party that dominates the political landscape. The jail politician's tactical voting plan is one of the last levers he and his allies have after a crackdown this summer outlawed his movement as being extremist. And U.S. climate envoy John Kerry is telling Chinese leaders that climate is not about politics. And he said to reach for the highest ambition in order to curb temperature rises. Senior Chinese diplomats told Kerry during his visit to China that the issue of climate change could not be separated from the broader political disputes between the two sides. And my response to them was, look, climate is not ideological, not partisan, and not a geostrategic weapon. Kerry told reporters during a conference call following 2 days of talks with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping in the northern city of Tianjin. And in news from India, Bandajan, India has granted visa extensions to Afghan nationals amidst this crisis to allow them to stay longer in light of the current situation in their home country. The guideline for the extension of a visa of Afghan citizens staying in India will be issued separately, the Home Ministry indicated on Thursday. And in other news, the Supreme Court in India, Bandajan, has directed the demolition of Supertech's Noida's Twin Towers. In a major blow to the real estate company Supertech, the Supreme Court on Tuesday directed it to demolish two 40-story towers in one of its housing projects in Noida after holding that the construction was done in violation of the law and in collusion with the Noida authority. Also, there is a news report that's coming out which is saying that the Taliban takeover may actually embolden Pakistan to push the terror agenda in Kashmir. What is that about? You can check out on MediaMahima.com, Banajan. That's all we have time for on this morning's Good Morning Bay. We'll be back tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. Don't forget to tune in then. Tab tak ke liye, have yourselves a terrific Thursday. What song is this, Aldo Baba?
This is what's going on the Banajan Dangal. So, the song in the voice of the Letterman, the Banajan Preetham music, Amitabh Bhattacharya's lyrics. It's a fight every step, Banajan. So what? Take it on. Dangal, dangal. Dangal, dangal. माँ के पेट से मरघट तक है तेरी कहानी पग पग प्यारे दंगल 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 सूरज तेरा चढ़ता ढलता गर्दिश में करते हैं तारे दंगल 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 दंगल
is your darling Faltu Rani, and let me tell you, Bandhajani, that all these beautiful tracks that you're listening to right now are special Dihari picks that we've hand-picked just for you. We'll see you in just a few. Keep listening.
Hi guys, this is Shraddha and you're listening to Radio D Hottie, where the entertainment gets hotter.